Society thinks outliving a century means you lose your mind and surrender your house keys. They are completely wrong. I am 103 years old. My name is Mabel. I live alone in my own beautiful curated retreat. I completely reject the old model of aging. I will not fade into the background. I refuse to sit quietly in a rocking chair. Well, I simply do not have the time to be managed by people younger than my antique rugs. Your adult children love to use safety as a weapon against you. They wrap their control in a thick blanket of fake concern. They look at you with pity. They say they just need peace of mind. They claim they are doing this for your own good. Ah, do not fall for that trap, darling. They just want you to lose control of your life's story. They want to strip away your personality. They want to turn you and your vibrant home into a giving up beige. I refuse to let that happen. I protect my brain sparkle at all costs. I do not waste my remaining energy yelling or fighting with them. I just become incredibly boring to argue with. Today I will teach you the gray rock method. I use this exact strategy to protect my peace and my thermostat sovereignty. I am going to give you 4 exact phrases. You will use these phrases to shut down their emotional manipulation instantly. You cannot have a happy ending to a miserable journey. Let us learn how to lock the door on their controlling nonsense right now. Let us talk about the safety police, darling. Your adult children love to play this game. They march into your house every single weekend. They wear a deeply worried expression on their faces. They carry an invisible clipboard. They act like they hold a badge from the danger department. They look critically at your dinner plate. They look down at your choice of footwear. They treat your normal daily life like a live crime scene. They call this overbearing behavior love. I call it utter suffocation. They want to eliminate every single risk from your day. They want to wrap your fragile bones in heavy bubble wrap. They want to sit you in a corner with a glass of room temperature water. They truly think living a long life means doing absolutely nothing exciting. They weaponize their anxiety against you. They demand changes to make their own lives easier. Well, I completely reject this boring model of aging. My oldest son came over last Tuesday morning. He stood right in the middle of my kitchen. He watched me spread real salted butter on a thick slice of white toast. He sighed very loudly. He crossed his arms over his chest. He started lecturing me about healthy dietary choices. He said he just wants peace of mind. He claimed he worries about me living all alone. He called me dangerously stubborn. I stood there and looked at him. I thought about the daily reality of my physical body. I am 103 years old. My knees sound exactly like popping bubble wrap when I stand up. My lower back throbs every time the weather changes. I have earned every single one of my wrinkles. I already manage these annoying physical realities every single day of my life. I refuse to take a health lecture from a 60-year-old man. This man still forgets to drink water. He still cannot fold a fitted sheet properly. I took a massive bite of my crunchy toast. I chewed it very slowly. I stared right into his panicked eyes. I dropped the very first gray rock. I said the magic words with absolutely zero emotion. I told him I can see how you would feel that way. I paused for 1 full second. I said, nonetheless, this is what I have decided to do. I did not raise my raspy voice. I did not sound angry or defensive. I sounded exactly like an automated bank menu. This is the absolute genius of the method. You validate their dramatic feelings. You completely strip away their power to argue. You do not offer a single explanation. Explanations are just open invitations for a messy debate. You never hand them an invitation. You hand them a solid steel wall. My son opened his mouth to argue. He closed it right back up. He had absolutely nothing to push against. The rock gave him zero traction. He just stood there and watched me finish my delicious breakfast in total silence. Ah, the sweet taste of unbothered victory. Now let us examine the second major battlefield of aging. I call this toxic behavior, playing the uninvited interior designer. Your adult children love to rearrange your personal kingdom. They walk into your quiet living room. They start moving your favorite things around. They disguise this invasion as helpful decluttering. They call it removing dangerous tripping hazards. They take away your favorite side table. They throw away your vintage magazine collection. They slide your heavy armchair all the way across the room. They want to create a sterile hospital environment for you. They want to turn your vibrant home into a sad shade of giving up beige. They also love to mess with your temperature. They turn the heat down. They complain your house feels like a tropical sauna. My blood runs colder than ice water, darling. I keep my dial at a beautiful 78 degrees. I earn the absolute right to sweat in my own living room. They completely violate your thermostat sovereignty. My youngest daughter tried this horrible trick last month. I came back inside from my morning walk. I walked directly into my sunny reading room. My favorite green velvet chair was missing. It usually sits right by the large east window. The bright afternoon sun hits that exact spot perfectly. I sit there every day. I watch the loud blue jays at the bird feeder from that chair. It took me 20 long years to mold that seat cushion to my spine. My daughter dragged my precious chair into a dark, dusty corner. She proudly claimed it blocked the hallway path. She stood there beaming with intense pride. She fully expected a warm thank you. She expected me to praise her hard work. She stole my natural sunlight instead. She completely ruined my entire afternoon routine. I felt a hot flash of real anger in my chest. I desperately wanted to yell at her. I took a very deep breath instead. I summoned my inner corporate lawyer. I smoothed down my floral sweater. Well, I delivered the second phrase with absolute ice in my veins. I looked directly at her smiling face. I told her moving my belongings has created a significant hardship for me. I did not blink once. I kept my face completely blank. I asked her when she can come put them back. I did not complain about the missing bird feeder. I did not whine about the stolen sunlight. I treated her exactly like a clumsy moving company. I stated a cold, hard fact. She created a problem in my house. She must fix the problem immediately. She tried to argue with me. She whined about doing it for my own good. I did not take the bait. I repeated the exact same phrase again. I did not change a single syllable. I became a stubborn broken record. She finally rolled her eyes and sighed loudly. She pushed the heavy green chair right back to the sunny window. She never moved a single piece of my furniture ever again. You must claim absolute authority over your own physical space. You are the untouchable queen of your castle. You do not negotiate with uninvited interior decorators. Let us move to the third form of family torture. This one is called treating me like a free emotional dumpster. Your adult children love to treat you like a free emotional dumping ground. They call you at 9 o'clock at night. They dump all their messy drama right into your lap. They complain about their unhappy marriages. They whine about their loud neighbors. They cry about their stressful office politics. They complain about the terrible city traffic. They whine about the high cost of groceries. They unleash a massive hurricane of negative feelings over the telephone. They expect you to drop everything and listen to them complain. They fully expect you to absorb their dark emotional weather system. They want you to fix their bad choices. They want you to take their side. You refuse to join their misery. You choose to protect your own peace instead. They immediately flip the script on you. They call you cold and unfeeling. They accuse you of being totally selfish to the family. They say you do not care about their struggles anymore. They try to make you feel guilty for enjoying your own quiet evening. I refuse to play this toxic game. I worked hard for decades to build a peaceful life. I will not let them drag me back into the messy chaos of youth. I am a grandmother, not a garbage can. My middle son called me last Sunday evening. I was wearing my favorite fuzzy slippers. I was sitting under a heavy wool blanket. I was watching a wonderful old black and white mystery movie. The villain was just about to confess his crime. The telephone rang and ruined the perfect cinematic moment. I picked up the heavy receiver. My son started ranting loudly about his wife. He complained about her expensive shoe shopping habits. He whined about her terrible cooking. He complained about the messy state of their garage. He talked without stopping for 15 straight minutes. He did not ask about my day. He did not ask about my health. He did not ask how I was feeling. He just used me as a sponge for his own anger. He wanted me to validate his bad mood. He finally paused to take a big breath. He waited for me to agree with his angry rant. He expected me to tell him exactly what to do. I took a slow sip of my warm peppermint tea. I looked at the lovely rain falling outside my dark window. I spoke into the phone with absolute calm. I told him I will not offer unsolicited advice. I paused to let the words sink in. I finished by stating I expect exactly the same from you. I did not yell at him. I did not take his wife's side either. I completely removed myself from his personal drama. I cut the invisible string of toxic dependence. He sputtered in absolute shock on the other end of the line. He angrily mumbled a quick goodbye. He hung up the phone. I smiled and went right back to my movie. I saved my precious brain sparkle for a much better story. We have finally reached the ultimate red line. I call this absolute nightmare the toddler treatment. Your grown children cross a massive boundary here. They actually start treating you like a helpless toddler. They walk into your home and use a sickening baby voice. They talk to you very loudly and very slowly. They think you lost your hearing and your brain cells at the exact same time. They bring over bags of bland approved snacks. They throw away your secret stash of dark chocolate. They replace your real butter with sad yellow margarine. They hide your favorite sharp cooking knives. They try to dictate your evening bedtime. They scold you for watching late-night television. They act completely shocked if they catch you doing something fun. They cross their arms and shake their heads. They wag their fingers in your face. They actually have the nerve to say you are acting like a spoiled child. They try to flip the entire hierarchy of power. They want to be the strict parent. They want you to be the helpless baby. They try to break your proud spirit with fake sweetness. Well, this is where you must drop the heaviest gray rock of all. My eldest daughter hosted a family dinner at my house last Thanksgiving. The house smelled like roasted meat and loud chaos. 3 young grandchildren were screaming and running in circles. The television was blaring a loud football game. I allowed her to cook the dry turkey. I stayed out of the hot, crowded kitchen entirely. I decided to reward myself for dealing with the noise. I poured myself a small glass of expensive sherry before dinner. The amber liquid looked beautiful in the dim light. I sat down in my favorite leather chair by the warm fireplace. The fire was crackling and popping softly. My daughter marched into the living room. She wore an ugly floral apron. She held a wooden stirring spoon like a police baton. She gasped loudly at my tiny crystal glass. She used that horrible high-pitched baby voice on me. She told me I was being very naughty. She said sugar and alcohol are bad for my aging bones. She actually reached out her hand to take my beautiful glass away. I did not stand up. I did not slap her hand away. I simply looked her dead in the eye. I channeled the absolute authority of a wild lioness. I said 4 simple words. I told her my house, my rules. I did not explain my choices. I did not argue about my advanced age. I delivered a fatal strike to her ridiculous power trip. She froze completely still. She slowly lowered her hand. Her face turned a bright shade of embarrassed red. She turned around and walked right back into the busy kitchen. She remembered exactly who owns the castle. Ah, you must always remind them who built the kingdom. You do not stop loving your children. You draw firm boundaries instead. You actually love them enough to force them to finally grow up. Do not feel guilty for protecting your own energy. You spent your entire youth worrying about other people. You carried their heavy emotional burdens for many long years. It is perfectly fine to set those heavy bags down on the floor now. Turning into a gray rock protects your own daily peace. It protects your beautiful art of living. Society calls a quiet house a sad, lonely thing. Society is completely wrong about that. Solitude is not a terrible curse at all. Solitude is a magnificent, empty canvas. You get to paint your remaining years with your absolute favorite bright colors. You never have to fade into a sad shade of giving up beige. You worked hard for decades to build your physical kingdom. You sacrificed your own precious time to raise your family. You paid your heavy dues to the chaotic world. You deserve to sit proudly on your comfortable throne today. You deserve to enjoy the quiet sunset in total unbothered peace. Ah! A silent room is a truly profound daily blessing. I want you to do something very specific for me right now, darling. Step entirely away from this glowing screen. Stand up slowly and stretch your tired back. Walk over to your absolute favorite bright window. Look outside at the beautiful art of the natural world. Watch the heavy tree branches sway in the gentle wind. Take a very deep, slow breath of fresh air. Feel the solid floor firmly under your feet. Let the warm afternoon sun touch your beautiful face. Forgive yourself for feeling a little tired today. Forgive your anxious children for their incredibly clumsy attempts at control. They usually act out of a deep, blind panic. You must always act out of calm, steady authority. You do not need to absorb their loud, messy worries. Enjoy the pure, unbothered freedom of your own quiet space. Do not let anyone rush your simple morning routine. Do not let anyone ruin your peaceful evening. Go into your clean kitchen and make yourself a hot cup of tea. Drink it slowly from your very best fancy china teacup. Do not save the good, delicate dishes for a future special occasion. Today is the real special occasion. You survived decades of absolute noise and chaos. You earned every single minute of this magnificent golden rest. Um, Remember, you simply cannot have a happy ending to a miserable journey.